Turner Yell makes the stop in the secondary for Denver. 1st and 10. The fake. Good block in there, and down it goes. Caught at the 30.
Welcome to the Fins Tailgate. It's where we elevate. Miami Dolphins talk, yeah, we never hesitate. Breaking news, hot takes, we keep it up to date. And when the fans speak up, the panel resonates. We live that aqua and orange from the field to the mic. Breaking down the plays, man, we talk it every night. From Tua to the defense, you know we keep it tight. NFL moves, you know we got the insight. We open up the floor, yeah, it's your time to shine. Fans drop the heat with opinions realigned. You got concerns, bring them, we're gonna chime. The Fins Tailgate's where we keep it prime. Welcome to the Fins Tailgate, it's where we elevate. Miami Dolphins talk, yeah, we never hesitate. Breaking news, hot takes, we keep it up to date. And when the fans speak up, the panel resonates. The NFL's changing, but we stay on the grind. Latest breaking stories, we don't waste no time. From the trades to the rumors, we make them all align. At the Fins Tailgate, we always on the climb. We're repping the Dolphins, but it's NFL wide. From South Beach to the league, we keep it worldwide. Got the fans engaged with the energy supplied. Come kick it at the tailgate, we're riding high tide. Welcome to the Fins Tailgate, it's where we elevate. Miami Dolphins talk, yeah, we never hesitate. Breaking news, hot takes, we keep it up to date. And when the fans speak up, the panel resonates. So if you love the game, you know we got the gate. Tune in, speak out, don't wait, it's your fate. This is the Fins Tailgate, now watch us dominate. Miami Dolphins, NFL, yeah, we integrate.
What is happening, Dolphins fans, and welcome to another episode of the Fins Tailgate with your host, El Capitan. Tonight on the tailgate party that never seems to stop, Tua Tagovailoa, NFL top 100 ranked player, with only 11 games played, manages to make the top 100. An accolade that is, one to be celebrated. We'll get into that, as well as a NFL vet calls out Mike McDaniel and the Miami Dolphins and their culture and why Ramsey is gone and what's really going on in Miami. And we'll get into all that too. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button on the way in. If you're watching on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Kick, anywhere else, come over here to YouTube, subscribe here on YouTube, and, become part of the tailgate family, guys. So make sure you guys are hitting that like button on the way in. I got color commentary coming at you, and I got Ali in the back as well. What's happening, gentlemen?
What's up, Cat? What's up, guys?
What's going on? Ali, you there?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great, buddy.
Okay.
What's going on?
Thank you. How's everybody doing? I'm doing good, man. Good. Just a lot to talk about today. A lot to talk about.
Yes. There's plenty to talk about. Other stuff to consider. A couple of little tidbits here and there for everybody coming at you. Just trying to get in where we fit in. Still, look, what are we? A little over 3 weeks, 3 weeks away from camp starting, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I gotta imagine, camp's getting ready to start. I'll save this for another episode, but is Zach Sealer gonna be there?
That is a good question, and I have another tidbit. Rumors are starting to fly about someone coming in.
Really? Ooh,
Yeah,
I like that.
This just hit my Twitter feed, and it's something that I said would be a good fit. So if it happens, it happens. We'll see if there's legs on it yet, but we'll see.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll get into that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to everybody in chat. I know it's an impromptu show, and usually when I do these in short time, the notifications don't go out. So make sure you guys are hitting the like button on your way in, so the notifications will activate and all that good stuff. So shout out to everybody in chat. Let's see who got up in. Michael K definitely got in here really quickly. He's just trolling all of chat. Nightmare 74. What's going on, buddy? Cap for life in here as well. What's going on, Cap? CCRR in here. Salute, guys, getting in and chat and making sure you guys are hitting it up.
Am I
Shout
too
out to
loud?
everybody else.
Michael K says I need to turn it down.
I don't know. Sound fine to me.
Sound fine to me. Okay. All right. Well, yeah.
I mean, we can't. I can see. I don't know if you're looking at it on your computer or not, but they've changed the layout here.
Yeah, a lot
stream.
of stuff is missing, kind of.
Well, it's different. If you look at the screens at the bottom, it's actually showing your mic level, which is a little different and a little interesting. And they're they got a whole thing going on now. So we'll see. Yeah, well, they're always making improvements. Shout out to StreamYard, putting everybody on game out here in creation world, and honestly, providing good service. A little bit on the pricey side, if I do say so, but it allows us to do this. So I'm still grateful for the service, because there's a lot of other platform and places that they do a good job too, but this one really streamlines it, for lack of a better term. So, all right, well, let's get right into it, man. Tua Tagovailoa on the NFL top 100. We're going to listen into the audio, but, it's pretty obvious that Jonnu Smith's probably got to be up on this top 100. It's not very often that, a tight end gets the kind of season he does and doesn't end up on this list. They're going to recognize him. And he had plenty to say on this NFL top 100 about Tua. So let's listen in.
Been around a lot of good quarterbacks, man, but his ball is just on another level.
I'll meet y'all in the end zone then.
So Tua ranking in at 91 on the NFL top 100. Last year, he was ranked at 36, so a little bit of a drop, but he only played 11 games, which in those 11 games, he went 6-5. I mean, one game above 500, and ends up at the 91st out of the NFL's top 100.
Let's go put some points on that board. Let's go.
Tua. End zone. Caught Smith. Touchdown. What a throw.
You cannot drop the ball. It's just right there. It's just right there every time. You know what I mean? The spiral, the spin on the ball, the velocity that the ball comes out with.
To the end zone. Got it. Smith. Touchdown.
I mean, look. Velocity, spin on the ball, beautiful, catchable ball. What's up, Tua Tuesdays? Hit the like button, brother. This is a common theme we hear, especially from the guys that end up on the top 100 on the Miami Dolphins when they talk about catching the football from Tua, that there's, it's a really nice football. Like you got no excuse to drop that thing. Shout out to Tonk for pulling up. What's up, Tonk?
What's up?
What's going on? So, just to catch you up really quickly, Tonk, Tua Tagovailoa makes it on the NFL top 100 list, ranked 91.
91, yeah.
Okay. Let's continue on with the audio from this.
The Dolphins win.
That's a lot of people don't understand. Like, you run slant route and cuts, digs. Like, we make it look easy, but those are catches that you really got to focus on and key in on, you know what I mean? And really key the nose of the ball. Tua just got a knack of just getting it right there, and it just fits your hands like a glove, man.
Tua delivers. It's Jonnu Smith.
Oh, go, no.
So real quick, the entire highlight is all Jonnu. Just to be clear. Again,
is it all glazing Tua the whole time?
Well, I mean, it's a ranking. That's all they do on these is glaze color. I mean, that's kind of the point. It's a literal fucking pom-pom program. And it's
I just thought they just like say something quick and move on from 91. I didn't realize they made a whole production out of it.
Is it how many players are there in the NFL?
A little over
1,600. I don't know exactly what the number is. It's roughly 1,600.
Well,
I want to say it's more than that. Actually, it's like 1,800 to be honest.
I actually want to say not including practice squad and just 53-man rosters. I want to say it's like 1,100.
Yeah, like
I want to say it's like
on a Sunday, how many? You know what I'm saying? Like
I think it's 1,100 is the number.
so
A little over
91 out
11.
of 1,100. That's pretty good.
That's really good.
Yeah, I don't think I see why they're spending time on it.
Well, I mean, it's literally
1,696
wow.
active players in the NFL.
I mean, to say that there's only 90 people better than Tua in the whole NFL, that's not a bad statement.
I mean, it's definitely a feather in your cap. I know I'd be fucking like, yeah, bitch.
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
I'd be talking. I mean, last year he was ranked 34th.
I think it's accurate.
Color
I
just
don't know how
confirmed that's without the practice squad players and stuff, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
it said,
Correct.
well, I could just read to you what the AI answer said. It just said there are 1,696 active players in the NFL. Each of the 32 teams carries a 53-man active roster during the regular season. So I think I think they just did 53 times 32.
Cap for Life says he barely made the list, but if we're being real, barely making a top 100 list out of 1,600 is, I mean, I don't know how, like, is that barely making it? I mean,
I guess it depends on how heavy they're gonna like prioritize the actual quarterback position in this ranking. Because if they're ranking it based on the quarterback is the most important, we may see quite a few quarterbacks in this top 100.
I thought it was just the players voting.
Yeah, but the players themselves, they might be voting.
What the mood of the players might be.
Yeah, they might all say, quarterback's the number one. There could be 20 or 30 quarterbacks in this top 100. Right. We don't know. We don't know yet.
Right.
You see,
where do you put guys like Bo Nix at this point? If coming out the gate having the season he had, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean we'll probably see that here sooner rather than later. I'm sure he made the list. If Tua's making it at 91, Bo Nix is making it a little higher. Again, you got to think this isn't the 91st best offensive player. It's of everybody. They put defensive linemen, offensive linemen. They put every position on this. So there is some context to.
It's kind of like when you're in 5,000th place, but the tournament had 4 million people in it. You're like, well, actually, 5,000th is pretty damn good. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like if they put 20, I'm just saying hypothetically. Let's say there's 20 quarterbacks in this ranking, right? Mm-hmm. And Tua's at 91 out of all of it. Does that look really good then?
Ali, I want you to remember that statement because I do want to go back to that and say, okay, Tua is the first of X amount of quarterbacks in the top 100. If there's, like you said, 18, 19 quarterbacks ahead of him, is that really good? That's actually not good.
Oh, yeah, right. Exactly.
That's actually not good at all. It means quarterbacks get in, and it's a kind of fugazi stat.
Right. There's 40 quarterbacks, and they're all in the top 40.
Yeah. if there's 32 quarterbacks and 20 of them are in, and your quarterback's the 20th, that's not good. I don't care what you say. I don't care if he's the top 100 or not. I did want to pin that because I wanted to wait till the whole show was over and see what quarterbacks were in.
Well, it would be more like Cap. It'd be more like if there was, even if there's 10 quarterbacks in, and they're all, and 9 of them are within the top 20, and 2 is sitting at 91st.
That's still the same thing.
I guess. I don't know.
I think the best way to look at it is just at the position itself.
Yes,
that's to be honest.
Yeah,
and how many are ahead of it.
I think we'll reconvene on that. Nightmare 74 says we all know he's not the 91st best player in the NFL, and debatable. As in, you're probably right.
Well, yeah, I think quarterbacks get weighted pretty heavily.
To be fair, though, to be 100% fair, because I do agree with Nightmare and what he says. I kind of think that you kind of have.
Scott Jackson said there was 15 of them in the last year and 4 in the top 10. Thank you, Scott Jackson.
Thank you for letting me know that. What I wanted to say is that I kind of feel like when you're evaluating or even speculating on this ranking, you kind of have to look at it as if these are PFF stats. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's a bit of a popularity contest too.
Exactly. That's basically what I wanted to say. It's a popularity contest.
It is.
Go ahead.
It's more about like
That sucks.
abilities and respect and other
Yeah,
stuff.
'cause if you're a bad player on a bad team and Tua roasted you, you're gonna think Tua's pretty good. You're gonna be like, I'm gonna vote for Tua.
Yeah, or I mean, listen, if we're being real, you only played 11 games and you were 6-5. There's nothing to write home about that type of performance in a year sample size. Him ending up
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Those 6 teams have 32 or 53 players each that, in their minds, got roasted by Tua. You see what I'm saying?
I can remember the years in which it was only like Xavier Howard in the top 100, and that was it. Nobody else made it. So, but let's continue.
Go, no. Hold on to that ball.
Tagovailoa over the middle. Smith take it
Free
out.
pass
Close.
and receptions to
Touchdown.
Smith.
Good job, Bush.
Hey, if you don't give Tua enough credit, because you know how hard it is to throw to the bottom and tight end. They're so small and fast. You got to be accurate.
You look at his career so far; he's only gotten better in many.
Well, here's Terron Armstead. First of all, Terron Armstead is, to me, I mean, he's pivoting to the announcer thing, and he should. He's got a very good presence. He's a big dude. The guy is a freaking monster. But and he's very eloquent in his thoughts and his bits, but he is so the everyone is good narrative guy, and I'm an NFL player, so you have to take my word for it. Not as an NFL player, he's a multiple time Pro Bowler, all pro. The guy is well respected, very good. So when he says something, you have to take it at word. But
I mean,
I gotta
but
say,
everyone in the NFL is a good player.
But
Right, well,
again, I gotta say,
is he's carrying the NFL shield.
Yes,
he's saying, "Look, I'm never gonna disparage an NFL player
for now, right?
What
Like
you're saying, Tonk. There's no real reason to. We're comparing relative against each other.
Yeah,
they're all they're the best 16.
Yeah,
They're the best 1,700
CCRR.
football players in the world. You know what I mean?
You also have to look at the fact of where Terron Armstead is in his career. He's retired. He's possibly going to become an offensive line coach at some point.
No.
I think
I
he
don't
does,
think-
bro.
no way, dude.
He has a school that he does.
Yeah, he'll do that
very
school
well.
still. He'll
But-
still do that school, but he's full tilt into media personality.
Well, I understand that, but what I'm saying is that's the reason why he doesn't want to disparage players, because you want people to come to his school that he does. You want to be able to get in the good for that media presence.
Yeah, he might be going for NFLPA rep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Nah,
kind of what I'm thinking.
maybe. I think this is a common trajectory when NFL players transition from playing to media. They always start with like the glazing. They always glaze all the players, the big ticket items.
That's a byproduct. That's a practical byproduct.
I know.
Of
I've
being
seen
able
that.
to,
TCRs.
because let's say if he, first and foremost, get in the media, show the networks that I'm this unbiased, positive speaking force for the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And then, once you do that, you've already ingratiated yourself so much to the NFL that it's like, all right, let's move on into the political aspect of the NFL, NFL.
I guess
or
maybe, and that you're right. There is that trajectory.
Commissioner.
I would say it's extremely common practice for NFL athletes when they do this transition. They're always the say good things about people guy. You can go back to when,
especially if they're really good players, like if the NFL has been well to them.
well,
as far as I did good, I had a great career.
That's who they want to pay, Color. That's who they want. That's who they want to come up and talk. Remember when what's the tight end for Carolina?
Holding penalties too.
What's the tight end for Carolina? That was calling the games and shit. What's his name? That used to be with Cam Newton and stuff like that.
Yeah, I knew who you're talking about.
I'm blanking on the name right now. But he was
Tom Brady just took his job.
Well, yes, but I mean, he was doing that. Olsen, thank you, True Blazer. Greg Olsen, Raph, thanks.
Yes.
Make sure everybody's hitting the like button. Real quick, everybody, make sure you're hitting that like button because the notifications aren't going out when I start these shows with not a lot of time. So, since creating the stream. So that happens. Anyhow, yeah, I think it's just the trajectory of them. And then if and when you really catch on to as a media personality, then you can get a little bit more edgy and a little bit more honest. And then you play devil's advocate, you play contrarian. There's a whole freaking ecosystem of ex-NFL players and the trajectory of the career and how they get that going and stuff like that. So let's continue on with the video. Well, Terron Armstead out here looking fly and making his bread.
Better in many areas of his game.
Tua winding up, going. He's got Waddle. Here he goes. It's a foot race.
Tua Tagovailoa led the NFL with a career-high completion percentage of 72.9.
All right. That is a stat I have a serious problem with. Leading the NFL with a 72.9 completion percentage is a null and void, incomplete, not allowed to be said stat when you didn't play a full season. It doesn't. If I play 3 games at quarterback and only throw the ball 10 times each game and complete every pass and have a perfect passing rating, perfect freaking completion percentage, but get injured and don't play another game, am I just the greatest quarterback of all time? No, I'm not. That's why I don't like that stat. It's very incomplete. We know Tua is very accurate. We know he doesn't take.
Referring to last year or like a certain set of years?
What's that?
Is he referring to last year or a certain like set of years?
No, that was last year in the
Really?
in the 11 games he played. And I'm not saying it isn't a stat to be recognized. I'll tell you what, if it was a full 17-week season and that was the number, I would be out here going, yeah, that's right, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Go 17 games in the NFL with the weather, on the road, hostile environments, dealing with injuries, dealing with whatever's going on in the vigors of the season, and get that 70+ percentage on your completions. That's something to be, about. But I can't.
You know what I find interesting also, LCAP, because me, I've been following these numbers for the past couple years. And I can tell you,
go ahead, Color.
just looking right at it, I can tell you that the completion percentages across the league are up last year, big time.
Well, give me a couple of numbers, Color, to chomp on.
Well, you had Tua leading the league with 72.9, Jared Goff 72.4, Baker Mayfield 71.4, Joe Burrow 70.6, Geno Smith 70.4. That rounds out the top 5, right? Well, in the year that, like, for instance, last year, Jake Browning had the highest completion percentage, but he doesn't have a real high sample size, so we'll go ahead and eliminate him. Number 1 was Dak Prescott, and tied with Kirk Cousins at 69.5. In 2022, the leader was Geno Smith. We all remember that, 69.8. 2021, 70.4. Joe Burrow, that's the high. That's number 1, and the only in the 70s.
Yeah,
everybody was up last year, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we're talking about another stat that he led the league in.
That really,
it's no big accomplishment because everybody did the same thing.
I would say completion percentages are up, and I would still say, hey, a league best 72%, great.
I mean, I'm just trying to add context. People can still decide whatever they want, whether that matters or not. I'm not trying to say it does. I'm just adding context to this.
Well, it is absolutely further context because in a league in which completion percentages are higher because of the way the rules are, the way the game's played, and all those things, I don't want to say it nullifies the effectiveness because that's just not true.
Well, for instance, the year he led the league in yardage, the year, I'm sorry, not the year he led the league.
Yes, no, he led the league in yardage.
Right, 46-24. That was good for 6th place. Like, 2 seasons before that.
Well, Color, as we went through when he was the passing leader in the NFL that year, that was the lowest amount in 23 years.
We did a whole segment on that. I remember.
It was the lowest amount in like a quarter century, and the next one was like, I think it was Tom Brady with 4,200 yards.
And look,
and again, and that includes games, because we played like a 1 game less season.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they were playing 1 whole game less, and Tua's numbers were still less than that.
Right. Drew Brees only played a couple seasons with 17 games, dude.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
You know what I mean? He was consistently putting up 5 Gs.
He was. All right.
And
so
the other thing real quick, though, is I'm not saying that it still isn't important that a guy stood out in a down season. Okay, fine. You were still the best that year at that particular stat. Fine. That's still a great accomplishment. I'm just saying, God, man, they put the guy on such a high damn pedestal whenever his fart doesn't stink, dude. And it's like, okay, you got away with one that didn't stink. Now you're God. I don't know. It just bothers me.
Big Nick says he did it with a throw into a tight end and a running back because his top 2 receivers were hurt. His top 2 receivers were not hurt all year. In fact, the quarterback was hurt more than they were.
Didn't Tyreek have like 1,700 of that 46?
No, that was the year prior, Color.
Right.
Tyreek Hill, I think it was his lowest yards in a long time.
I mean, you still stood out in those years. Okay, great. You know,
let's continue.
Tua Tagovailoa led the NFL with a career-high completion percentage of 72.9.
4th and goal to the end zone. Caught, touchdown.
The way that system is around him, he's getting his guys the ball now. So it's really like say hut, bam. Balls in their hands. Now Waddle and everybody else doing what they do.
Waddle, full acceleration, touchdown. Ah! It is target practice for Tagovailoa.
He's a quick release quarterback, so he has ways to get the ball in his hands fast.
No quarterback spent less average time with the ball in his hands between snap and the release of a pass.
And is that a good thing? I mean, I know that Tua, that's his
between
game.
Snaps and release of the pass. That's not that he doesn't control that.
Well,
if
I mean,
a quarterback takes,
just...
listen, if a quarterback takes, if 2 quarterbacks run the same exact play, okay, 1 quarterback 10 times, okay, same exact play, everything is equal except this one thing for 10 plays in a row between 2 quarterbacks. And the only thing that's different is one of them took the snap in the shotgun or the pistol, and the other took all 10 of those snaps under center. Who do you think gets the ball out quicker from snap to pass?
Nobody but Tua. He's the quickest.
I'm just saying. Part of that is not even in the control. If you're factoring from snap to pass, which is what that gentleman just said, 50% of that is decided whether you're in the shotgun or up under center.
Well, it also depends on defensive alignment and a read option type of thing. You know, like an RPO maybe.
If Mike McDaniel were to call 100% shotgun plays, Tua would inherently have a lower number of what that gentleman was speaking about, snap to pass. Because when you're up under center, you have to take the time to drop back after the pass.
Well, I mean, look, you could be out of the shotgun. You read
even a 3-step drop would add more time to that.
You read the D lineman on the running back handoff. If he comes up, which creates the throwing lane, you pull it, you throw it as the guy opens up into the window, and you'll know if he's going to open up into the window because the DB is lined up on his outside shoulder to prevent him from getting downfield, and he's going to take this inside
and out of the shotgun,
slant.
You're already and out of the shotgun, you're already at your third read by the time you would be planting your back foot if you're dropping back, dude.
Real quick, if Tua Tagovailoa was the Super Bowl MVP, I would get Tua is the GOAT tattooed right here on my forearm. He could never win another game ever, but he would win a Super Bowl and be MVP. So everywhere I would go, you would see me sitting here, and it would say Tua is the GOAT right on my fucking arm. And everyone would see that, and they'd always be like, "Who the fuck is Tua?" Or, "Oh, you like the Dolphins?" I would literally brand it on me. So there you go, Big Nick. I would do it. You could pull up this receipt. Tua becomes Super Bowl in MVP, and here it is, right on my left arm, right here. Tua is the GOAT, or something to that effect. I would brand it right on me.
That still ain't gonna make him happy, dude.
I mean, I would do it. I don't care about making him happy. I'm just saying I would do it because he would be a Super Bowl MVP. I would be ecstatic. I'd be like, I was so wrong about him. He's the greatest ever. He's won us a Super Bowl and got MVP and had the best performance in the Super Bowl.
You wouldn't even have to be that way for you to get a tattoo about it, though.
That's right. I don't have to be any sort of way.
Yeah.
I would be just realer than a motherfucker. That's how I would be.
Color, can I ask a question in regards to the completion percentages gone up and his completion percentage being, what is it, 72.9? I think we calculated, or what the stats show. Is it safe to say it's plausible that the completion percentage has gone up, or it's as high as it is because of the easy passes, that basically the checkdowns that are being made? Yeah. I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example real quick. 2023 and 2022, he had the average completion air yards per attempt, right, with completed passes was over 4, right? It was like 4.4 in 23, and even in 2022 it was higher. It was like 5.8. Whereas this past season is the lowest in Tua's entire career. The average air yards per pass completed, not attempt, completed, is only 3 yards. So it's a huge,
significant drop off. Yeah, to sit there and say you're quick.
Is it possible that his percentage went up because he's making these easy, less than 3 yard throws every time?
Obviously that's part of it, but given that it's up across the league, then what you would want to do is you'd want to say, okay, is that also something else that a lot of the other teams did this year?
Well, yeah, I mean,
all throwing short passes.
Exactly.
Because look, you could have all that number being up across the league, but each of those 5 quarterbacks that had above 70% could have different reasons why it's higher for them this year. But let's say you look through the research and find out, Joe Burrow's the only one with a high average. Jared Goff's the only one with a high average of yards per completion. Then you can say, okay, well, look at the other 4 quarterbacks: Baker Mayfield, who else was it? Geno Smith, I think I said, and
who was the guy from Vikings? How did he do?
Kirk Cousins.
Not Cousins.
No, not Cousins.
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
Look at fucking Tonka with the fucking Sam Darnold.
He's a fan. I can tell he's a fan.
Let's see. Sam Darnold was at 66.2.
Oh wow,
that was
ain't no
good.
Surprise. We've been talking football.
Yeah, but what's his completion attempt?
Average his yards per attempt is 7.9.
An average completion. Percent.
Or yards per completion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Was 12 Even.
Oh,
Yeah, he's throwing
wow.
downfield.
Well,
bro. He's
That's
throwing
quadruple.
downfield.
Dude, that's
12?
quadruple.
Dude, that is literally quadruple what Tua's getting. No shit,
Yeah,
he's got
bro.
only he's 72%.
Tua's at 9.9
2%,
last
whatever it
year.
was.
Just
Oh,
real
okay,
quick,
okay.
just
yards
real.
per catch.
Tua's was 9 yards per catch.
9.9.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So hold on. Oh,
was
earlier you
18th.
said per throw.
Oh
Now
no,
you're
I'm sorry,
saying
not
per catch.
18th. That was good for.
Oh no, what's the yards
No,
per
that's not
attempt?
good. That's not
What's-
good, Cap. 9.9 yards is tied with Cooper Rush and Gardner Minshew for 32nd.
Oh,
Yeah, dude.
I don't even know.
Damn.
I don't even know where Cooper Rush plays for.
He played for
Isn't he
Dallas.
Dallas?
To be
I thought it was
fair, let me
Dallas.
be fair.
Oh yeah, he was backup. Yeah.
Let me be fair though. Since Big Nick never thinks I'm fair, okay? Let me be
He
fair.
doesn't think anybody's fair.
I know, and that's why I'm going to prove him wrong right now.
Go ahead.
31st at 10 even, tied for 30th at 10 yards even is none other than Super Bowl runner-up Patrick Mahomes.
Mm.
All right.
Tied with
Well-
Bo Nix. So, to be
My-
fair, the Super
The numbers
Bowl,
I had were the air
GOAT
yards.
is at
by the
10
way.
yards.
Yeah,
per-
yeah.
per
What
catch.
color? What's the air yards? Air yards per attempt.
Average or air yards per attempt. Tua was at 7.35. Mahomes 6.80.
Where are you getting your
Ooh.
stats, if you don't mind me asking?
Pro Football Reference, where I always do.
Well, because I'm looking at Pro
Never even
Reference
heard of
right
that
now.
website.
I'm looking at the Pro Reference right now.
Sounds
Under
like a website you would make, Color.
hold on, color. I'm looking at it right now, and I don't see those stats you're giving. So that's why I want to make sure we're
Well, I
talking
can
about
pull
the
up my
same
screen.
thing.
I can share my screen if you want to.
Sure.
go
Are you
ahead.
looking at the 2023 or 2024 stat?
Or career.
2024.
You might be looking at the career.
Well,
Let me
I'm looking at 2024 regular season.
because what
It's
I'm
got the whole
looking
list of all 36 measurable quarterbacks last year.
because when I pull up
Picture it didn't
Pull up-
happen.
I'm just going to present what I'm looking
Okay,
at.
all right, because you might be looking at a different screen, and some reason the stats aren't lining up, so that's why I'm asking.
Here's the screen
Ooh,
right
look
here.
That's not-
2024
that's not-
NFL passing, regular season.
We didn't get to. Okay,
Hold on, where'd
hold
it
on.
Are
go?
you
hold on.
looking at the playoffs? Maybe did you have the playoffs tab checked or something?
No. See,
Well,
you're
it doesn't
looking
matter.
at
He wasn't in the
everybody-
fucking playoffs.
Hold on, you're looking at everybody, and
I know.
all I did is I'm looking strictly at Tua Tagovailoa's stats.
Right, but see,
That
all I
looks
have to do,
advanced.
all I have to do on this page is say, okay, completion percentage. If I sort by completion percentage, I've got the ranking right here. I don't need to, you know what I mean? I can see
okay,
the
all right.
actual
Okay,
ranking.
that's cool.
So look up. Hold on a second. Let me zoom in on this so I can see it a little bit better. I'm sorry.
Air yards per attempt. Lamar Jackson led the league. Mr. Running Back, 10.15 yards per air yards per attempt.
So what's
Andrew Van
Tua's air
Ginkel
yards per
makes the
attempt?
list.
What's
that,
his-
Cody?
What's his air yards per attempt?
Who? Lamar?
Tua.
Tua was
just
at,
rank it.
Tua is right. Where'd he go? What did he fall off the list? No, he's right here, 7.35.
All right, because I'm gonna share my screen now because maybe it's a different stat. Maybe that's what I'm looking at. Maybe
Well, I don't know.
Share
Let me hover over it to make sure I'm right. Hold on. Adjusted yard. Oh, I'm sorry. That wasn't air yards. Air yards is over here. That's why there's a difference right here. Hold on.
Click on the air yards.
Hold on. Net yards gained per pass attempt. Yards gained per pass attempt.
I don't think it's actually on there. What you're looking at. That's what because the acronym I'm looking at.
Because it's on the advanced tab. Hold on.
Okay. Because I'm looking at IAY/PA, which is intended air yards per pass attempt.
It's on the advanced tab right here.
Okay.
Intended air yards per attempt. Total and then per pass attempt.
There you
Anthony
go. Let's see
Richardson,
that.
12.2. Number one.
Trevor Lawrence, 9.3 in the second.
Yeah, but what is the attempt really showing us?
So-
Tua was 30.
What is that telling us though?
At
So it's telling
5.7.
us what it's telling us is when they're throwing the ball, what's the average amount of air yards that they're actually trying to get when they throw the football.
Okay,
Right.
now
Well, that's
it
what I
matches.
mean.
see
Like
it,
how?
Killer.
So what,
But-
let me break it down. Let me break it
but-
down an easier way to understand.
But it's like,
what it's
oh, is
telling
he
us,
really
Tonk,
standing there saying, I want to throw it 12 meters right now, or I want to throw it 15 meters, or I'm going to try to throw it 14? Like,
okay, what it's saying is when you now add that context to the completion percentage, Tonk,
Mhm.
what it is saying is Tua is tossing quarters into a bucket a foot away from him. Everybody else is tossing dimes into a cup 10 feet away from them.
Yeah,
okay.
that's basically
It
that's
would,
basically
it would
what
be
you just did explain it.
understandable if his completion percentage were higher than everybody else's.
Mhm.
Okay.
And thank you, Color. It matches now. Now that you've broken this down that way, I can see the right stat.
Turn a
Thank
quarter
you.
into a bucket, not a dive into a cup.
I mean, now, Tonk, the only reason I'm being hyperbolic is because we're talking about he didn't even qualify in the 32 starting quarterbacks. He's 36th in the league. Now, I can be fair again to Big Nick and say Patrick Mahomes was 6.2, which is good for 34th.
Damn, Joe Riz said he also had the lowest IQ. Damn.
But then you look at Jalen Hurts at 7.8.
Oh, yeah, he says, what IQ do I need to be on this motherfucking yacht?
All right, let's continue with the video.
Foot race, driving, 36.
Tagovailoa only averaged 4.5 yards on the ground per game, but few use their legs better to make something out of nothing.
My job is to have something in rhythm. But the plays, your guys' job has been, let's extend plays when there's nothing there.
Okay, what was that 4.5 yards per game on the ground? What the fuck does that mean? Is that how many yards Tua would run? Is that what he meant? Because I think Tua has like 30 rushing yards or something like that.
Can you replay it again?
Yeah, I'm gonna rewind it.
Okay.
Tagovailoa only averaged 4.5 yards on the ground per game.
Yeah, it only averaged 4.5
Running.
yards on the ground per game. So,
But few use their legs better to make something out of nothing.
My job is to have something in rhythm. But the plays, your guys' job has been, let's extend plays when there's nothing there.
Yeah. Well, still play within the timing, but if it's not there.
They could not tackle Tua. Tua gets away from two defenders to keep that play alive. And nice easy throw to Tyreek Hill. How about that?
He's 1-on-1, man.
They go to Smith. He's got
Definitely one of one. I'll give him that is a true statement.
you know what? You know what Tua should really be working on in the offseason? Speed. Just speed. Just get so fat. Try to get Kyler Murray fast.
Am I the only one that would have taken that as an insult if somebody told me I was 1 of 1? I mean, like,
No, that's never an insult.
Nah.
Think about it though, Tonk. You're saying you're number 1 in a world where you're the only one in it.
No,
That's right.
No.
Hell yeah.
What?
Is it me or
You're
It
one
means there's
of
nobody
one.
else
The
like
set-
you. It
the
doesn't
set
mean
is
you're
one-
alone in the world.
No, listen. The
He
set
didn't say
contains
you're
one.
the last man on earth, Tua.
No,
He said,
listen
no,
to me.
you're one of one.
Tonk, listen to me. The set contains 1. It says of 1. That means the set contains 1. If you're 1 of 1, you are in a world where there is only 1, and you're number
one of a
Color.
kind.
Did
Someone
you
else-
know that 1 is the loneliest number? Sorry, go ahead, Ollie.
No, I actually like that song. Keep going, bro.
That you ever knew.
No,
Actually,
but
Joe, to my understanding, I was taught that there is a set can be 1.
No, now you're
There
just
is a set of 1.
What are we getting into Seiko geometry now?
No,
We're gonna
that's
start
probably
breaking down
math.
one
That's
isn't
probably
really
math
It's mathematics.
theory
It's set
about
theory,
that.
bro. But
Those,
I thought I was watching a video where it said there is a set of 1.
Those 4 yards per game that they were talking about on the ground, that was for last year.
Yes, that was his average rushing yards per game.
Okay. It just seems to me, I don't know if it's just me, but I think his first 2 years, he was a much better runner than he is now. I don't know.
I would say, when he came back from the hip, ever since that Cincinnati concussion sling thing, I don't think he's been
Never been the
speed
same.
guy.
Never been the same.
I think he tried to slim down to get a little bit of that back. I don't know if he's got it, but listen, he got injured last year. Missed quite a bit of time. If he's got his body right, and if he's got the speed, the guy's still young, dude. He's still really young. So, I mean, I know, whatever. Let's get on with it first. Before we get on to the next thing, make sure everybody is hitting the like button, subscribing if you guys are new, and make sure you guys are checking out tftgnetwork.com.
Get ready to dive into a new world of online shopping with the Fins Tailgate. Whether you're a die-hard sports fan or just looking for the latest fashion trends, we've got you covered. With a wide variety of products from your favorite sports teams to stylish accessories and home decor, we're your one-stop shop for all things tailgate. Our easy-to-use website and hassle-free checkout process make shopping with us a breeze. Plus, with frequent sales and discounts, you won't want to shop anywhere else. So come on in and join the party at the Fins Tailgate, your new go-to destination for all things tailgate.
Fins Tailgate.
Make sure to go to tftgnetwork.com, Fins Tailgate, for all your tailgating needs.
I tell you who does have a set, though, Cap. Asante Samuel Sr. That dude's
well, it's funny you should say that, Color, because that's where we're going to pivot to our next subject. So, NFL veteran Asante Samuel Sr. came out and had some choice words about the Miami Dolphins, and in particularly Mike McDaniel and the Miami Dolphins organization. He said, shame on you, Dolphins, for how you were unable to get Ramsey in order. He actually made a really good point about Ramsey with the Jaguars. Wasn't really controllable, but look at the Jaguars organization. Kind of a fucking dumpster fire for the most part. Miami Dolphins, not controllable, at least just not buying in, but a guy who does well when there's a lot of structure. So let's listen into what Asante Samuel Sr. had to say, and it's kind of timely of all this because the Miami Dolphins looking to get they should be looking to get a little bit more depth at the cornerback position, especially with some of the things that are coming out about Cam Smith and stuff like that. We'll get into that next. But Asante Samuel Jr. is a guy that was definitely on the Miami Dolphins radar, and here is his father having some things to say about the Dolphins. Listen in.
Dolphins had no reason to trade Jalen Ramsey other than they're sensitive. There's no leadership in the Dolphins organization. Mike McDaniels is a pushover. Chris Greer, the general manager, he has no backbone. These guys over here, the Miami Dolphins, they are running this team like a little league team. No one can stand up to the players. They're terrified of their own players, and they have no control over their players.
This is something. It's literally verbatim what I want to say the most of us at the Fins Tailgate have been saying for 3 years at least.
I said high school. I didn't say little league, bro. That's
at least. Now, I will say this, right? He came out with a lie, and I'm going to say it real quick right here.
Dolphins had no reason to trade Jalen Ramsey.
Well, now that's kind of not true. The Dolphins are paying $7 million plus a year less for Minkah Fitzpatrick versus Jalen Ramsey. That's just a fact. Mm-hmm. There is some financial concerns. Now, Jalen Ramsey wanting to leave for all the reasons he said, that I can agree with. Now, I don't know in particularly. Maybe he and Ramsey's close. Maybe he's close to people in Ramsey's circle. Maybe these guys kind of, they're DBs, they're vets, stuff like that. I don't know. The problem is that I'm not going to take him at his word any more than I'm going to take Terron Armstead about his word. I know Dolphins fans around here will be like, oh, just Asante Samuel. No, not that. He's it. Well, you can't have your cake and eat it too. I don't trust no one on nothing because I feel like somebody's got something to gain for personal. This did not seem like a more thought out thought. It seemed how he really felt. And I will say that Asante Samuel, thank you for watching the Fins Tailgate, because everything you said we've been saying here for years.
Yep.
Other than they're sensitive, there's no leadership in the Dolphins organization. Mike McDaniels is a pushover. Chris Greer, the general manager, he has no backbone. These guys over here, the Miami Dolphins, they are running this team like a little league team. No one.
The Miami Dolphins, they're sensitive. There's no leadership in the Dolphins organization. Mike McDaniel is a pushover. Chris Greer has no backbone. And the inmates are running the asylum, added that caveat in there. They're running this like a little league team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, listen, I agree. We've said this as the latest installment of what we like to call the cool kids table, because the Dolphins organization is running on the cool kids table, and Tua's the coolest kid at the cool kids table. Sorry, I know y'all think it's you just hate Tua, Cap. No, they fucking fired a coach for the kid. They kept people that supported him and didn't fucking take the other coach's side. Even my fucking computer says thumbs up. Get out of here. I'm telling you, that's the truth. And you know what? The latest installment is they went and got a Minkah Fitzpatrick. That's his old buddy and friend, old pal, old guy. Someone who they know isn't going to make waves, stand up, say something against the grain, and going to be a good soldier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with
somebody they. Let me go ahead, Ali. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say I agree with pretty much everything he said, except the comments about we didn't have a reason to trade Ramsey. Yes, we have many reasons to trade Ramsey. It's just reasons that you may not understand, or
maybe no good reasons. Maybe no good reasons.
What did you say? Say that again. Say it again.
Maybe no good reasons. You know what I'm saying?
Some good reasons. I'll tell you some. One, he's at the tail end of his career. He's over 30 now, right? Number two, let's see. He's been here 2 seasons, and in both of those seasons, when you really look at his production, there's been a huge drop off. We really ain't getting anything more than what we're getting from Kader Kohu or even Storm Duck.
Careful though, Ali.
And yeah. I'm not going to be careful. I'm just going to speak facts. Let's also look at the fact that he's making what, $26 million or something ridiculous
now. Yeah, he was making 25.
Because we're talking about playing for
$2 million more than he was last season. And then in addition to it, let's also not forget that he was the guy that wanted to cover whoever the best receiver was, and he couldn't even do that very well. So I'm sorry, but the guy is past his prime. It's time to move on. Get whatever you can get, and I honestly think we got a hell of a deal. We got younger because this team needed to get younger, and
because their coach is inferior to men. That's right.
What?
Well, he according to Asante Samuel, he can't get him under control.
I think I'm going to reserve my opinion on Jalen Ramsey's career to this point until he's playing for a team that actually has respect and deserves respect. Because when you're on a team like ours, like we just illustrated, Asante Samuel Sr. just illustrated, how are you going to get the best out of a dog? Dogs don't play in those environments. And that's just my opinion. I mean, I respect where you're coming from, Ali, because you're just speaking facts and speaking what he put on the table this year. You know what I mean? I'm speaking to why he put that on the table this year. And I'm
Okay.
reserving the right to find out if he don't play for somebody that is not running things like an elementary school, like a kindergarten.
Can you? I'm sorry, caller. I don't mean to interrupt you. I really apologize. I'm
Didn't
just
you
trying
win
to
a Super
No,
understand.
go
Bowl?
ahead. No, go
I'm
ahead.
trying to understand what you had stated, and I just need some clarification.
So
what was the comment? What was the comment about inferior to men? Can you say that again?
well, we just heard what Asante Samuel Sr. said about Mike McDaniel.
Okay.
And we agree with it, right? I mean, at least I do.
I agree with everything except what he said about the reasons that we had no reason to trade.
No, I'm
Ramsey, which I
talking
think
about
we
what
do.
I'm talking about what Asante Samuel said about Mike McDaniel.
Oh, okay. Then in that case, I agree with you altogether.
And what I'm saying is right. And what I'm saying is, how are you if you're the person who has authority over you is inferior to you? How are you gonna be a dog in that environment? How are you gonna be you? Why would you be you? Why would you give that kind of organization and that kind of leadership structure your 100% if they don't intend to give you theirs?
I don't know.
I mean, we'll find out. You could be right. He could just be washed up. Now, I'm not saying that the move wasn't smart in the respect that whether he's washed up or not, why take the chance? It's very Belichickian of Chris Greer to go ahead and get rid of him and pull Minka in here for a lot cheaper.
Well,
So
okay.
That part I agree
saying,
with.
Let me ask you the question that I really wanted to, and why I was asking what you were talking about inferior to men. Let's look at
Pushover. That was my way of saying he's a pushover.
Hold on real quick.
Inferior to men is
Let's
wild,
look at the
bro.
year prior when we had Vic Fangio here. Vic Fangio is a Super Bowl fucking winner. Do you think he's a pushover?
No.
No.
And
But he
he's
left.
the one that told him, no, I don't want you covering the best receiver. Stay on your side.
But
Right?
he left. They ran him up out of here.
I understand. I agree with you on that aspect. But the fact is that he couldn't compete. I'm sorry, he couldn't perform productively with a superior coach in Vic Fangio. And Weaver, you and I have said this guy is the next guy. We love Weaver. You even said it yourself, Color, that you think Weaver's the best thing ever.
Yeah,
right?
I think Weaver's pretty great.
And
what does that have to do with
and
it?
he still can't do it under Weaver.
Yeah,
So my
but
point is-
Ramsey is dealing with the organization, not the defensive coordinator. Ramsey is
he's
dealing with an
still-
All right,
organization that's
real
still
quick,
there to win.
Or not.
real quick. Ramsey took a pay raise last offseason to stay with the Dolphins because he played well. And then it was obvious that Ramsey went through the motions this year. And early, didn't really buy
as
in.
the quarterback got injured.
Yes, but again, and that's again, whatever. He's gonna get the money.
I don't know. Look, Ali, Ali, you could be absolutely spot on. I'm just simply reminding everybody it's fair to reserve the right to see what happens when he's playing somewhere that does respect what he is.
And so, look,
you're talking.
Right.
I
That's how
firmly
I feel.
believe that this dude is the closest thing that we would see to Deion Sanders since Deion Sanders, bro. I really believe he has that ability.
Look, Ramsey, I'm not okay. First of all, Color, I just want to make sure you understand. I agree that Ramsey
Deion was just
prolific.
getting cooking at this point of his career.
I get
That's
you.
the
If
thing.
we had him in his prime, he's probably going to be cooking everybody. I agree with that 100%. But we got the end of Ramsey's career. That's what we got, right?
Yeah, but again, I say, what if you're going to see Ramsey in Pittsburgh just light it up? Pro Bowl, all pro Ramsey.
Well, it's interesting you brought up Fangio because to answer that part of your question, what if we see Ramsey in Philly this year?
What if we saw Ramsey he's going to be in Pittsburgh, but
let's say it was possible for Philly to
get him
their
instead?
books to get him. Would that change your opinion? Because that would seem to suggest that it's like, well, nothing could be right because of the organization while Fangio was here with Ramsey. And they both said, you know what? We're going to have to re-adjourn this somewhere else.
Yeah, Fangio left because he knew he wasn't liking the direction of things. And it's kind of what Asante Samuel's talking about. It's kind of what probably Ramsey didn't like. Yes, I can make $25 million if I stayed in Miami.
Figure out what's going on.
The Dolphins, listen, Ramsey left for $1 million more this year. I don't fucking think so. Okay, it wasn't an extra $1 million that Ramsey wanted. It was Ramsey wanted to make the money he's making and not play in Miami for whatever reasons. Dolphins didn't want to get rid of him. They've been trying to work it out. Anyone who says that is wrong. They wish he stayed. They're not displeased with his performance and what he was doing. He wanted out and he left. Same with Fangio and same with others around here. And that's the facts. And the narrative that's coming out and being talked about, look no further than what we've been saying here for the last 3 years. It's cool kids club. It's clicked up. It's not being taken serious. And the inmates are running the friggin' asylum. And yes, when you have all this talent and you have some actually good play designing and some, kind of whatever, you can whip up on these bad teams with your talent and your plays. But when the going gets tough and the fucking troops start running away from the battlefield, there's no one out there to go. And ain't nobody turning tail, because I promise you're going to have to see me in the locker room. And nobody has that in there. And if you're making money and you're rich and famous, and you're blah, 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 you're like, fuck this. I want to make more money next year. I'm not putting my body on the line. No one's willing to put that extra step on the line.
Not only that, it's about who you are. You're Jalen Ramsey, bro. This guy, Ali, speaking as a fellow Floridian, which all three of us are, me, you, and Jalen Ramsey.
All four. All four of us. Everybody in this.
I didn't miss
all five of us.
I know. I didn't mean to disclude you guys, but for the purposes of Ali and I's discussion.
Okay, go ahead.
Me, him, and Jalen Ramsey. We're all Floridians here, bro. Do you know any Floridian that accepts that, bro? That accepts those circumstances and performs? Or do most Floridians would say, fuck this, I'm out of here. I'm going to go do it where it needs to be done.
I mean, listen, it's not like he was here for a cup of coffee. He was here for 2 years. He said, I won't be here no more. He said, I tried it the first year. We did pretty good. Came up short. Not happy about it. Quarterback didn't go to the fucking playoffs. Was injured. Say what you want. He got injured. Wasn't there. And then the next year, what?
I mean, it's the Tallahassee in him.
Got injured again?
That's all I'm trying to say.
No,
the guy, I don't think he's at the end of his career.
Listen,
I truly
he want to make 25 mil and win Super Bowls. That's what he wants.
I still believe the guy's about halfway through and still has all kinds of stuff. I think he'll
play for a couple more years. I think he's going to play.
I think he can play for another 2 or 3 years. I get it. But I don't think it's going to be like prime when he was in his prime at all.
Sure. So on the surface, the move, the trade and all that, good trade.
Well, now how about this?
Get ourselves that he was never going to be here.
What's up, Daniel Berry?
Because of what Asante Samuel Sr. was pointing out, not because we needed to trade him.
So real quick, we're gonna keep to the conversation, but I'm kind of add some context.
Quick, let me just rephrase that so it's simpler for anybody to get what I meant. Just because the trade benefited us doesn't mean we were in the need of doing it. So Asante Samuel Sr. can be right, yet the trade still could be beneficial to us as it was.
I mean, I don't know. I think it was all right all the way around, honestly. The addition of Waller is, I don't know. We'll have to see how that shakes out.
I think he could have been right color, but not with the intention of how he was trying to portray it. He was trying to portray it that we had no need to do this whatsoever, but
as if to say we needed Jalen Ramsey. Right.
I get you, which is true. We didn't need to trade him because he's technically in need of ours. We need corners, right? But at the same time, we didn't really
I think
have
how you're interpreting what he said is the inverse of what he said. He said we didn't need to trade him, but I think the way his tone made you interpret it of him saying we needed Jalen Ramsey to stay here. And that I would disagree with. That I'm with you on. I would disagree with. if that's the his perspective, is that we needed Jalen Ramsey to stay here.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Kev. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Knowing what Jalen Ramsey. Now, I wanted to point something out. Earlier in chat in here, Mudbone says, where was it? Was it Mudbone that said it? Man. Oh, yeah. Ramsey was getting burnt, period. He was always chasing receivers from behind. And I would say, yes, Ramsey is not Jacksonville Ramsey, right? He's not that guy. He's lost a little step. And as age catches up, that's what we kind of expect. I wouldn't say there's a cliff he dropped off of, but I would also say at his age, it's to be expected. Now, Minkah Fitzpatrick, what's his excuse? Because I'm sorry to tell Dolphins fans, for what we're paying for $15 million at the safety position, one of the highest paid safeties in the league, the last 2 years he's been dropped off. You talk to any Pittsburgh fan, if it was a straight up trade for Ramsey and Minkah, they would have been fine with it. That's what the narrative is, because Minkah is losing a step and getting burnt toast. And here's the problem. The real problem is that he's in position with the guys in front of him, able to have the angle, and he's too slow to get there. That's a huge problem, because if you're a safety playing and coming down underneath and you've got the angle and that guy's out flanking you with speed and speed alone, you're a safety. The one thing you can't do is have to turn your hips and chase. Everything. You're literally a linebacker downfield that's got good ball skills. That's what you're supposed to be. You're a linebacker downfield that's supposed to have speed and good ball skills. Go back and watch a little bit of Jalen Ramsey these last 2 years. There's been a bit of a drop-off in his game on film. I'm telling you. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be the worst-case scenario. It's not going to be terrible. I still think he's a better-rated safety. But if we're looking at Jalen Ramsey's career and where the drop-off is kind of happening, a slow kind of flattening off and slow dip at his age is a lot more impressive than what Minkah Fitzpatrick, who went kind of high and kind of has now faded off.
So just to provide some context to that, because I do understand his stats have dropped off, but let's actually go back to 2023, where he experienced multiple injuries, including chest contusion, hamstring injury, and a knee injury, and was forced to miss 7 games. So
that chest contusion is also part of the gripe. They say he doesn't tackle like he used to. Ever since he got that chest injury, he hasn't been the same guy, is what they're saying.
I understand, but missing 7 games means that there's going to be a drop-off in your production. I get that. And maybe,
but I didn't ask you to look at the stats. I want to look. I'm telling you, look at the film.
Okay, but part of that could be part of the film too. If you coming back from these type of injuries, you're obviously not going to be the same player in that moment. And I haven't even looked what happened in 2024, so don't even ask me about it yet. But
why don't you look at 2024 and tell me what you see?
We're talking about Minkah, right?
Yes,
yeah,
Minkah.
that's what he's talking about.
Again, Ali, I'll make the same. I'm going to be fair, and I'm going to give Minkah the same benefit of the doubt, dude. Maybe his welcome just wore out in Pittsburgh, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, again, maybe
the guy's still young. He's still a great athlete and top bill. You know what I mean? So he's coming back to a place he's familiar with. He don't need to ask where the toilet's at. You know
Mike
what I mean?
Best says, Cap, Minkah is a much better fit in the Dolphins defense. I got to be honest, Mike. Anyone who's a good defender is a good fit in the Steelers defense. And that's been the way it's been since the Steelers have been a team. It's been forever, bro. So to say that, he doesn't fit in the Steelers defense, that really means that you're soft. In which case, you're right. It is a better fit here in Miami because that's the narrative. We're soft.
But it's I'm going with the old friendly glove analogy. Like he's coming here to a place he's been. Like I said, Ali, he don't need to ask where the toilet's at, where the cafeteria's at, where the slide is at. You know.
Shout out to my boy in the PSL. A friend of mine just DM'd me. He says that there are rumors that there was a rift between him and the Steelers coaching staff last season. So that could lead to production, issues, just like what we've seen here with other people that we've
And
had.
just like I was trying to give Ramsey the same benefit.
I get you. So maybe you're right.
Both guys, for at least from my part, I'm looking at this year as prove to me that's not what was going on. You know what I mean? Or that was,
Look,
you see what I'm saying, Ali?
For me, how I'm looking at it is Mika Fitzpatrick is younger than Ramsey, right? In addition, I'm looking at it in the sense that Mickey Fitzpatrick is what? A 3-time All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler? It's been a long time since we've had somebody like that on this roster. So I'll take it. We saved what, $9 million? I'll take it. And it's better than, he's arguably better than what we have on the roster right now at safety, right? So I'm kind of liking this move, to be honest. And if I'm Steeler fans, yeah, I understand they didn't want Ramsey. I get it. But it is what it is.
I mean, listen,
Asante could have been a little more accurate and could have been like, they didn't need to do this and that, and they fooled their fans into thinking that it was about something else because they still pulled off a spectacular trade. You see what I'm saying? Like, he could have said something like that. Like, he fooled
I do
the
agree
fans
with everything he said,
by
but
doing this trade.
So,
if he'd have got anybody but Minka Fitzpatrick or his son, it would have been a bad trade. It would have been a bad move.
Look at Michael K wanting to know if we're single wide brothers or some shit. Nah, dude, I'm in a 2-story house right now. Don't worry, Michael K.
Act like he doesn't know your address.
Actually, no.
It's like, dude, go on Google Maps, dude.
Yeah,
Michael K is worried that Michael K is just worried that his single wide is not as wide as your double wide.
Dude, he's still over there trying to figure out why conditioner isn't sudsy.
Every time you say that song, I laugh so hard, bro.
Real quick, Mike Best says, Cap, you're not a fan of Minka signing, or am I getting that right? No, I mean, listen, I understand the financial implications, and I see that, a declining Ramsey, relatively speaking, at 25, 26 million versus I would say a plateauing, rounding off Minka Fitzpatrick for 15 million. In a Weaver defense, plus, new blood, you could always get. It's like dating a new girl when you're young, boy. You all in love and shit. Like, give me that on a year-to-year. I think, honestly, I would only sign free agents for a 1-year deal, 2-year max, like 1 year with an option. I would never sign anybody to multi-year deals other than guys that I drafted that I knew were the type of killers that I wanted here. And that would be how I would run a football team. And I would always just be like, give me the next young, cheap guy that's fighting and clawing for contracts. And as soon as he's in the air and I got somebody behind him that sees, hey, you can go get paid, I'll trade him. They get paid. The next guy that's a wide receiver, running back, fucking tight end, whomever's like, yo, the last guy in here balled out and went and got paid. I don't know. I would try to do that. That usually takes a good quarterback, but whatever. Let's continue on with what I had here on the agenda. Jalen Ramsey would have been the Miami Dolphins' 4th-ranked highest paid player at $25 million. Currently, right now, the top 10 Miami Dolphins players value highest paid goes as such. Number 10 coming in at $7 million a year. Center Aaron Brewer. Aaron Brewer at $7 million a year. Gotta say, a bargain of a deal. Absolutely love that contract. One in which when the Dolphins signed him last year, I was like, ooh, I don't know. That he has got to hand it to him. Buddy has done an incredible job, and for the money he's making, definitely awesome. Coming in at number 9, $7.8 million a year. None other than Zach Sealer. Completely Completely well underpaid. Incredible to think that what Zach Sealer is getting paid at $7.8 million a year. I gotta think, with as many times I've watched the Miami Dolphins give someone $10 million a year and watch them not play but 10 snaps.
Yeah.
I've watched them do that literally every other year for 10 years. Give Zach Sealer a couple more mil a year with a couple more mil guaranteed over the next couple of years. Pay this man, get him closer to the 9 mil a year number because he's worth it. Especially when I continue to go on to this list. And this is why, something I mentioned earlier, camp is right around the corner, just a few weeks away, less than a month away. NFL camp will start and we'll be, gearing up for the friggin' preseason. Before we know it, it'll be September and we'll be watching football. Coming in at number 8 with $8.2 million. This is just over $400 million a year, or $400,000 a year more, is newly signed left tackle, guard, whatever they're going to put him at, James Daniels, a guy that just got brought in here, is making more than Zach Sealer. And Zach Sealer's got to be like, wait a minute. Shout out to Craig.
Me again. That's what.
Shout out to Craig. Sorry, guys. I love the trade. I think Minka will be fine, and we will find a CB in free agency after preseason ends. I got to be honest. I'm not poo-pooing on it, Craig.
Apologize. It's a good trade.
No, it's again. I talked about it when it happened. If you measured losses and gains and then add the money we received as well to shore up guys like Zach Sealer and take care of Zach Sealer and do the right thing and also get a CB with that money, I think it was, as a business cap maneuvering, a player moving around, I thought it was pretty good. I'm not gonna say it was a bad move.
Yeah, I'm not saying Ali. I'm not telling you you're guilty of this. I'm just expressing to you why I come so hard about defending Jalen Ramsey. And
that's all it was. It was. I mean, we don't have
of the fact that everybody, you know how it is with our fan base, bro. Everybody that leads,
they shit on everybody.
Shit on, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not interested.
Apologize to me for
and
that.
I'm not saying you were doing that. I'm just expressing why I came so hard about it, because just how
color. Don't apologize to Ali. Apologize to Craig Sebring is who you apologize to.
Yeah, you don't need to.
That's what I'm saying. Craig ain't got to be sorry. I think it was a good
apologize,
trade.
Color.
Like I'm not. I'm not.
Color, apologize to Greg.
I'm sorry, Greg.
All right, real quick. Coming in at number 7 with just $100,000 more than James Daniel at number 8, getting $8.3 million a year. Jordan Brooks, I like him. Earned his money, came in on that deal, got himself a raise, played like a freaking menace at the linebacking position. Really good. And when you pay a linebacker $8.3 million, which, by today's standards is, I don't want to say high, but it's definitely a very good rate for middle linebackers. Jordan Brooks got to be feeling pretty good about himself, I still think when I look at it that he's making $500,000 a year more than Zach Sealer. I don't know if he's $500,000 or more worth more than Zach Sealer, honestly, but I would say they're pretty comparable. Next up on the list, coming in at number 6 with $13.2 million. And it pains me because I was hoping to look at this and think to myself, my God, what a value. Jalen Phillips coming in at number 6 with $13.2 million. Mm-hmm. I love Jalen Phillips. I love the pick. I think when he's healthy and out there and doing his thing, I feel like every time we see him, he's gotten better. He's gotten more to his tool shed. I just don't know if he'll ever be able to last in the NFL because it's these lower, explosion tendon type of injuries that he's getting. These types of things.
It's just injuries in general, bro. He needs to stay healthy. If he stays healthy, he would be twice as effective and productive than he's been in the last 3 seasons. And he'd probably be getting a payday. If it's not with us, it would be with some other team if he stayed healthy.
Well, look at the
Shout
bright
out.
side. The cost of his Achilles surgery is probably much higher than what we're paying him.
Real quick, shout out
I don't
to
know.
a couple people who jumped in chat. I see AB in here, X Factor in here. What's up, X Factor? Salute.
Back it up, binge
Yep.
podcast.
The
What's
Back
up,
It Up
dude?
Binge podcast. JB, what's going on, my brother? Hit the like button, everybody. Make sure everybody's hitting that like button as we round the hour and 20-minute mark. Let's continue with the list. So just above Jalen Phillips at $13.4 million, coming in at number 5. New first-round draft pick, Kenneth Grant. That's what they're going for now. I mean, listen, Jalen Phillips, Kenneth Grant kind of picked, in the first round guys and stuff like that. It's not, inflation ain't too bad, honestly. $0.2 million more for a top first round pick. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Defensive guys, all that stuff. Just want to point out right now, heading into the top 5 highest paid players on the Miami Dolphins, 4 of which have been defensive guys, 2 offensive guys. Coming in at number 4, $15.5 million going to this man, newly traded for Minkah Fitzpatrick. This would be the position that Jalen Ramsey would be holding right now if he was still with the team. We didn't get Minkah. 15.5. I mean, $9.5 million less than what Jalen Ramsey's going to be getting this year after the raise in Pittsburgh. So once again, 5 out of the top 7 NFL Miami Dolphins highest paid guys are defensive guys. And that's where the defensive guys end. Next up on our list, coming in at number 3 with $27.7 million, Tyreek Hill getting the bag. Now, got to be honest, $27.7 million with the way wide receivers and what people are making, and Tyreek Hill still being effective. I don't care what anybody says. I don't think from the day we got him to the day till now, he's dropped off in his productivity, his ability, and his work ethic. There's been every kind of freaking scandal you could imagine to come along with this guy. Well, not every kind. We've seen some worse ones, but enough to have your hands full. But as taking all that and setting all that aside, as a product on the field, $27.7 million, Tyreek Hill. Next up, coming in at number 2, $31.5 million. This is the first year in which the big money is getting paid on that extension to Jalen Waddle on the Miami Dolphins. Just want to point out, that's a total of $59.2 million that the Dolphins will spend this year on Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. That will account for $59.2 million of cap. And that's just over $8 million more than who comes in at number 1. Number 1 on this list, Tua Tagovailoa, accounting for $51 million. And by that $51 million he's earning, according to the NFL standards and a financial thing, he is worth 2, I repeat, 2 Jalen Ramseys. $51 million. Yes, Waddle makes more than
That's
Tyreek.
too much.
This year, Mike Best, Waddle will account for more money. $51 million is a bargain for starting QB these days. No, I would say a bargain for starting QB these days is while they're underneath their rookie deal, and one in which you keep them for 5 years. That's the bargain. That's the bargain.
How much did Sam Darnold sign for?
I don't know.
I'm looking right now. He got a 3-year, $100 million quarterback, $100 million contract, right?
So what's that worth?
33.3 million.
33.3. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a bargain.
That is a
That's
bargain.
a bargain.
What?
For a 3-year starting quarterback, $33 million. That's $20 million. That's damn near a Jalen Ramsey less.
I'll do you one best. Tyreek Hill's favorite quarterback. Can anybody tell me who that was?
Tua Tagovailoa.
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's what's his name?
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Nope.
No, it's what's his name? Caleb Williams.
Baker Mayfield.
Oh yeah,
Daniel
Baker
Craig.
Mayfield. Yeah, that's right.
Was his favorite what do they call it? Favorite quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
He signed a 3-year, actually almost the same as Darnold's 3-year, $100 million deal. That is a hell of a bargain deal. Paying $33 million a season, right? That's what I think would be a bargain, especially from a quarterback that has won how many playoff games in the last 2 seasons, Color?
Baker did like
2. He's won 2 playoff games in 2 seasons, back to back. So shout out to Baker Mayfield.
Just want to point out again, just over $110 million, which I forget what the cap is. What's the cap this year? Does anybody know? 200. I know it's like 239. Maybe it's 240 now.
Sure, it went up this year.
I'm
yeah.
not sure, Kat, but did you happen to watch that video that I shared in the group text the other day about the Philadelphia Eagles and how they broke the NFL?
No.
About the salary cap and all that?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, dude.
Well, you know who did that? The guy who used to own the Marlins went up there and figured it out.
Well, given that it's obvious we're following that same model, like we're going to be about ready. I think it is like 2029 or 2030.
Hell yeah.
We'll be at the stage where the Eagles were at like 2 years ago.
God, I can't wait.
Like
Fucking
this,
just
or
5
like last year. You know what I mean?
Just 5 to 7 more years, Color.
And here's the thing. It's going to be timed right when everybody is already expecting 2030 to be like, or 2029, I forget which of the 2 years, to be this huge salary cap increase because that's when the new network deal has to get redone.
Yeah. We are currently at 279.2 million this year. That's what the cap is at.
279. God bless it. Wow,
so
it went
they're
quick.
expecting God all, like even the Eagles themselves are expecting a huge windfall of salary of available money
So
come 2030
at 279 million for a cap. So let's just call it 280. Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Waddle, and Tyreek Hill are accounting for 110 plus million of that. 3 guys.
Almost half.
Almost half. Just under, I would say probably about 40 something percent. That's for 3 players. 3 players. Tua, Hill, and Waddle. And listen, that's what your superstars cost. They're expensive as hell. They good. Let's call it for what it is. But is the juice worth the squeeze, baby? Is the juice worth the squeeze? Because if we're talking about a quarterback only playing 11 games, we're talking about limping into the playoffs and losing in the wild card. We're talking about 1 game over 500. Is that really worth 40% of your roster? There's got to be a better way to decipher this type of money, because I would say this. I mean, let's just do some quick math. Zach Sealer and Aaron Brewer is 14.8 million. Add James Daniels, add Jordy Brooks in on that. Add James Daniels. That's 22 million. Jordan Brooks, that's 32.3 million. Let's add Jalen Phillips and Kenneth Grant. That will do 50, 30, 40, 50, 58.8 million. Minka Fitzpatrick, you add that, 60, 73, 74 million. So not even getting those other players, that's about as much as that's actually almost exactly as much what Tua and Tyreek Hill are worth. So Minka Fitzpatrick, Jalen Phillips, Kenneth Grant, Jordan Brooks, James Daniels, Zach Sealer, Aaron Brewer cost you like $1 million or $2 million less than Tyreek Hill and Tua Tagovailoa. There's got to be a better way to build teams, bro. There's got to be a new, better way. I would rather pay nobody who gets more than 12 mil. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me more guys cheaper. There's got to be a way.
Dude, this is all biding our time for 2030, bro.
Well, Color, I mean, 2030, the world could be at war for all I know. Aliens could invade and none of us be there.
I don't think of things that way, though, bro.
I guess they don't. Not when they're, gajillionaires. It ain't going to matter to them. Make sure everybody's hitting the like button, everybody. Hit the like button. If you're watching on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Kick, CB Radio, Your Mom's House, Smoke Signals, make sure to come over here to YouTube and subscribe here on the network and hit that like button, please.
Like, I think the whole thing with Doug Peterson and Frank Reich and all that, I think that was luck. Not luck in the respect that they luckily won the Super Bowl, but that I don't think that the higher ups were expecting that at that time. They were still stripping down and starting this whole. If you happen to have a look at the video I had sent the other day, it talks about what the strategy that they implemented. You know what I mean, with their salary cap and their roster structure and all that. But I'm not sure they were like expecting that.
Yeah, I don't think they were either, Color. I think they were forecasting being maybe a playoff team.
Yeah. And Peterson, Reich, and Foles were like, and Wentz were like, y'all, we're gonna still try to win. You know what I mean? And they did.
And I want to say, what's his name? The guy who used to commentate. He was a defensive player for the Steelers. He was a commentator. His son is in the league. What's his name? Hall of Famer. God, what was his name? Long, Jake Long, I think. You guys remember Long? You know what I'm talking
Jake,
about?
of course. My dad's got his jersey still.
Yeah. Didn't his son play for the Eagles for a hot minute? I want to say his son played for the Eagles.
Chris Long?
Yeah, I think his son
was his brother.
Yeah, it was his brother. That's his brother, Chris Long. Yeah. He played for the Rams. He played for the Rams, and then he played for the Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I remember.
they were still rocking Darren Sproles, if I remember correctly.
Yes, they were. Darren Sproles was with
him. And Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, fuck, dude.
Yeah, they had Deshaun Jackson back then. That was crazy.
I mean, if you're telling me that this is this current Miami Dolphins is the Donovan McNabb Miami Dolphins, I would say you're kind of right, Color. I kind of could see that. I could see the Donovan McNabb type of thing. I think what we really need to do is start acting more like Philadelphia fans and just beating the hell out of everybody and burning our city to the ground and really just letting them know how we feel.
So B. McDee's saying they're not related.
No, they're not. Let me find who I was talking about.
Which one? Oh,
listen, they're related. They're related. Old Grandpa Long was out there fucking setting up franchises back in the day. They didn't call Grandpa Long for no reason. God damn it, they're fucking related. Get out of here.
I don't think they are.
I was gonna say, which one of them is related to Howie?
Yeah, Howie Long is who I'm talking about. His son played for the Eagles. That's what I know.
Yeah, Chris Long.
Chris Long is Howie Long's son,
and Jake Long is not his. That's not his daddy.
And Jake Long's just some grifter.
So Jake Long's the bastard son. That's fucked up. Jake Long's just a bastard, huh?
Well, Jake Long's the one on my coffee mug, so
it's true.
The year without a quarterback. That's what we're gonna call that. They should do a video series on that Sperano team and call it the year with Miami Dolphins, the year without a quarterback.
So HB put a poll in the chat. Is Tua worth $51 million? Currently, right now, 79% says way too much for Tua. Way too much is what it says. Way too much or worth it. So
can I bring up something that hit my Twitter feed?
Yeah, sure. What about Richard Long?
You remember good old Dick Long?
Yeah, dude. Don't you remember good old Richard Long? Yeah, old Grandpa Richard Long, as they used to tell him. That's all the little long bastards could call him daddy.
So Dolphins Nation, shout out to them, put out something in regards to this could be a world where Tua is in his last season in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are hitting the comments, yelling like, "Oh no way possible! Not this world! You're out of this world!" and all this stuff, right? I would argue, and I mentioned earlier on in this show that there's a rumor that just hit about an hour before the show started. There was rumors prior to that, but it's starting to maybe catch legs that there's a player that we might be interested in, and there's mutual interest.
Ooh,
right?
Dude, should I hit the breaking news on this, Ali?
It's just a rumor. I don't know if it's legit or not. I can just tell
let's do breaking rumor news then. All right, okay. Rumor news.
Breaking rumor news. And I shout out to myself because I said this would be a good fit for the Miami Dolphins. Keenan Allen has mutual interest to join Miami.
Ooh la la.
Really?
So let me break this down for you.
87-year-old Keenan Allen.
Let me explain why this might be a good fit and move, and why Tua is
the damn ball.
Why Tua could be in this equation. Let me explain. You mentioned earlier in this show, is Zach Seiler going to be here? You mentioned that, right? I have a new question for you. Is Tyreek Hill going to be here?
Oh, Tyreek's definitely going to be here.
Let me explain why I don't think so. Okay? What happened prior to us trading Ramsey? Who was trying to keep Ramsey here and bring him back here and bring him back to the table?
Freak the freak.
Tyreek Hill. Right?
Daddy Reek.
What did Asante Samuel's father just blasted us for?
He said everything we said.
And everything that we said. Yeah, we're pushovers. We're weak. We let our players get away with it. We fear our players, right? Well, Tyreek Hill is getting up in age. You said you got to get younger, right? We've drafted some guys. Tyreek Hill could be a trade piece that we either trade now or by trade deadline, right? You move him. You bring in a Keenan Allen who can actually help you develop your young receivers you already have here, such as Malik and others that you have, like some of these, maybe one or two of these undrafted guys that we think might be something here. So that makes sense. And in a season that we might not even be that good, right? We might be less than 8 wins, less than 9 wins. I'll give you that, less than 9. And you might have yourself in a position to maybe get a quarterback. Is Tua Tagovailoa could be looking at a possible trade scenario for himself.
Tua?
Yeah. Could that happen? Think about it. Think about the reason why this makes sense. You're in a season. This season we don't do so well.
So we're gonna get Keenan Allen and trade away Tua. Is that what you're saying?
No. It's two
people. Lost me.
There's 2 people we're getting rid of.
So we're gonna get rid of Tyreek. We're gonna get rid of Tua, and we're gonna get Keenan Allen. And
draft, because in the next 2 drafts, I'll tell you what it's loaded with. The next 2 drafts, quarterbacks and wide receivers dominate the next 2 drafts. If you're going to make the move for a new quarterback and a new wide receiver, you do it in the next 2 drafts. That's why I think it makes complete sense. There could be a domino effect is basically what I'm saying.
So
you're gonna have a gajillion dollars to either pay the guy in 2030 or build a huge team around him.
So real
Just
quick,
saying.
I would say this, Ali. I could see them maybe wanting to move off Tyreek before the trade deadline this year if Tua's injured and Tyreek Hill is literally making a fucking get me the fuck out of here and willing to, work something out. Plus the Dolphins are already on the hook for some money. Teams, right now, we just went through it. Tyreek Hill has $27 million on the cap. I don't know where that is in which the Dolphins have cap space or have already paid, I know they've paid some of that. There's plenty of teams that have money, but the Lions are pretty much the only team that has a good amount of cap space left over. They've got $40 million right now. That would be a smart play for somewhere like that to go. Cardinals, Packers, Cowboys, Bengals, Raiders, Eagles, Seahawks, Titans, Jets, Chargers all have 27 to 45 million. So
if those teams want Tyreek, they'll find a way to make the money work.
They can always make it work.
They can always make it work. So here's my point though. Why Keenan Allen would be interesting and start this domino is the fact that why would there be mutual interest to bring in Keenan Allen in the first place? We have a shit ton of receivers here, right?
Because Keenan Allen can actually play the role and much better that Jonnu Smith played last year.
Dude, I gotta be honest.
I'll give you that.
I love Keenan Allen, but you're talking about getting an aging older Keenan Allen that, maybe this is his last year, maybe next year's his last year minimum. Like he's totally in the friggin', he's in his final act.
More than sure hands for Tua to have.
I got it
on a critical down, bro.
Look, for me, it's this. But you bring in Keenan Allen to help develop your young wide receivers, right? We have Malik Washington. We have Taj Washington. Do you really think they're learning anything from Tyreek Hill? No.
I don't think they're learning anything at all.
You bring in a Keenan Allen who can help develop them. We have a guy named Andrew Armstrong here that I want him to develop.
Is a completely different type of.
You bring in Keenan Allen, Andrew Armstrong got to hit the bricks because we ain't got enough room on this roster. What are you talking about? Like, there's just no way. What about Akeem Hicks? Like, what are we just going to get rid of him?
Well, no. I think we're going to keep him, but you have to also look at.
So this is all contingent on Tyreek Hill leaving.
Yes, Tyreek Hill leaves. I think he's the
Tyreek Hill.
Before
Tyreek Hill does not leave this team before week 6.
Okay, you might be right about that. I don't disagree.
Tyreek Hill is playing now.
I just don't understand why there would be mutual interest. That doesn't make sense to me. If we don't have enough room, then why is there mutual interest?
Because you want to know why there's mutual interest? Because Keenan Allen very well may be on that friggin' road to perdition type of thing right now, where he's literally trying to get on an NFL roster. Dolphins going to bring him into camp, and he's going to get cut, and they're going to go younger. He's on his fucking Ocho Cinco thing right now, bro. Sorry. I love Keenan Allen. I won many a fantasy fucking matchups with a Keenan Allen on there because he was so sure-handed. Back when with the Chargers, I think is a really great athlete. But let's not get shit construed. This is not 2012.
Just put it yourself. He's sure-handed, and that's something we don't really have.
You can have the surest hands you want. He's too goddamn slow to put in this offense, bro. That's a fact.
I don't need him to be. I need him to just be a red zone threat. I don't need a freaking speedster. Speed is not everything on this team.
What you want him to be is what this offense doesn't run. We don't run any of that. What you want him to be is the red zone threat. We ain't throwing fucking high point footballs in the red zone. Sorry, everybody. Not while Tua and Mike McDaniel are here. We're throwing these fucking little weird concept bubble route fucking gonna move this guy with that route and someone's gonna sit in the open spot in a tight little knit. That's what they do here. We do
What about all those
misdirection.
fades that we throw in the corner of the end zone that go to Tyreek, but they keep blocking because he's only 5 foot tall?
Doesn't matter. Tyreek's the only one
Ali,
quick
the
enough
best
to get to
whoever
the fade.
did it was 30%, bro. And that's Megatron.
I get you, but my point is, my point is
you're
just
not going
like,
to bring in a guy for such a low percentage play exclusively.
the reason I think Tyreek is the first one to go because I think they want to use that money and keep what they have in Zach Seiler. I don't think Zach Seiler is going anywhere. They're just trying to make
the first
money
to get
work right now.
Tyreek Hill's the first to go at the end of this year because the money's already paid. They're already on the hook.
Yeah.
He's the first to go. There's outs, there's money clauses, there's whatever designations. He's the first to go if the Dolphins are rebuilding. Now,
And the reason
if they have success and we're in the fucking, we win 2 playoff games, you can bet your fucking bottom dollar Tyreek Hill. They're reworking everybody and everything and cashing in on this team. That's what they're doing.
The reason I ultimately think that they will move off of Tyreek maybe by week 6 or 7. We'll see. My point is that the reason that I think they need to do that is you need to keep Zach Seiler here. You need to keep him here because Zach Seiler, along with Kenny G and all of these other defensive tackles that we brought in, are the sole purpose of what they want to do on defense, bro.
Zach Seiler to me is staying.
Strength. You have to keep Zach Seiler here.
Listen, the Dolphins currently, and this is after paying everybody but their second round pick, who I still don't think is signed.
He's not.
They have $13 million. That's after recouping the money from the Jalen Ramsey trade. They're gonna give Zach Seiler some of that $13 million. Bet that, and then they're gonna take $4 million and give it to a DB hopefully, and then they're gonna hold probably a good $7-8 million like they fucking do every single year. Every single year, they're all the way down to their last $6-8 million, and they spend a little during the season and go sign fucking Emmanuel Ogbah back here or some shit. That's what they do. To me. And they need to. As we know, Chris Greer already pointed out that this year they expect Cam Smith to grow the fuck up and take a role. And if he doesn't, I could see us cutting bait with him definitely by the end of this year. If Cam Smith does not solidify himself as a starter, they're going to let him go because it's not about talent.
Mm-hmm.
It's about desire, want to, work ethic, the other stuff. But guess what? That's a product of this football team. You put him in a strict, rigid structure type of football team and demand it of him. He's either A, going to wash out, or B, going to get with the program. And right here, we got a bit of a country club going on. And
that's part of the problem. They just keep asking for more and more money, bro. I think at some point you need to get some of these big contracts out of here. Ramsey was one. We already got rid of one. Now we got 2 more to go. That's just basically how I'm looking at it.
Listen, I know I'm into the idea of, look, they spent the money and kept spending the money on the 3 things they've had success with in the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
Tua, Tyreek, and Waddle. Those 3 guys. Tua to Tyreek, Tua to what? When Tua was the best quarterback with the highest yards and the most success we've had in the last couple of years, it was because of those 3 guys. And they have shedded some of it and maneuvered around some of the money and what can be more successful. And that's it. I don't disagree with it personally.
And another reason you got to move that Tyreek money is because who do you think is the next one that needs to be paid here? On the offense, who do you think the next one that needs to be paid?
HN,
exactly. And if he ends up being super productive in the receiving side department, as well as being a decent running back, you got to pay the man. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, but, and I don't care what anybody says. If I'm the Miami Dolphins, no matter outside of us having success in the playoffs and, really trying to, maneuver some things and make another run and stay on that track. outside of that, no matter how successful Achane is, I am trading him next year. And I was like, oh my God, okay. I am cashing in on the value that Achane is worth. He is a small speed guy running back, and they're a fucking dime a dozen. I don't care what anyone says. I'm not saying he's not a good running back, and I'm not saying that he couldn't maybe even be a full-time wide receiver potentially. I'm saying I ain't interested in doing it. Go get me the next 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round speedy little back to work in this system.
Yeah.
And ain't paying him shit. Fuck out of here.
I understand. I agree with you. I understand the premise of how you run your organization. But we know the Miami Dolphins don't work that way. They hold on to everybody and then give it away. That's what
not
they
true.
do.
They haven't paid a running back since Reggie Bush. That's it. They haven't paid. Now, is he the new Reggie Bush? Yeah, but is that the system? Reggie Bush was the freaking every down single solo back. They're not doing that no more.
But you didn't hear what I said, bro. They're not gonna. I didn't say they were gonna pay him. I said they were gonna give him away because that's what we do. We
give him away.
We gave Hunt away. We gave what's his name, Christian Wilkins away.
I would rather keep Achane all the way through his contract and draft his replacement and know that I have his replacement before I trade him. Now I'm hoping that Ollie is the guy or Wright is the guy, and I could see that. Oh, listen, if I gave these guys more of the touches that Achane's getting, I'm gonna not drop off in production, and I'm gonna not spend money, and I'm gonna cash in on a 2nd and 3rd round pick for Achane who went off this year. I want to do business like business is done in the NFL.
I know what you want to do. I know what you want to do. The Dolphins don't want to do that, but I know what you want to do.
I'm dead. I want to take one and turn it into 2 and give me some money. If I can do that, I'm winning every time. And that's
why you loved all those trades we made back in 2019 because it was cha-ching, 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 cha-ching all over.
It was smart. It was smart business, and it literally built where we are now. So
the other thing, Ollie, is the Tyreek thing.
Yeah.
You have to look back at that too, when it as applies to Devon Achane, because because look who we brought in, Jalen Wright, Ollie Gordon. We get these 2 guys cooking. We don't need Achane for what we're using him for right now,
and honestly,
he can easily be converted to that Tyreek Hill role. And guess what? Achane has much better hands.
I'll tell you what. I don't know about that, but if you
are you kidding me?
I'm not asking. We're not asking Achane to run the routes and catch the footballs that we were asking Tyreek Hill to.
But that don't mean he can't.
I would say that the reason they're not doing it is because he can't.
One thing. I just want you guys to don't forget. Kansas City tried to do this experiment that they could just replace Tyreek Hill with another receiver. I can't remember his name because
it was Tony. It was Kadarius Tony.
No, because they didn't draft him. They traded for him eventually. The guy I'm talking about, the guy that went to the Jets and played with the Jets for a hot minute before being traded back to Kansas City. You know what I'm talking about? His last name started with an M.
Oh, Scantling. Not Scantling.
No.
Scantling?
No.
Marquise. No.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Marquise Brown.
No, not Marquise Brown. No.
Marquise Valdez-Scantling.
In the draft, the guy had the same exact. They said his comp was Tyreek Hill, had the same speed, hands, and everything, and it never happened. So I understand. It seems like it's easy. You can just find whoever the next speedster is or whatever.
No, I don't think it's ever easy to say you're going to find the next Tyreek Hill. I don't think anyone's ever going to say, "Oh, I can just find the next Tyreek Hill." Mecole Hardman.
Thank you. That's what it was.
Jamie boy, clutch. Jamie clutch. Hit the like button, everybody. Tonk made it just in time.
Tyreek with Pacheco.
Well, kind of. I don't know.
Running back.
Yeah, get me a Pacheco at running back, please. I want the hard runners. I don't know. Tonk made it back just in time for me to close this thing down. We're hitting about the 2-hour mark. Make sure everybody's hitting the like button. I'm going to probably go on again tomorrow around the same time. So make sure you guys are hitting the notification bell and everything like that. Tonk doing TMI on this Thursday?
Yeah.
Good deal. Good deal. Ali, you got anything coming up?
Negative.
Yes, we got 4th and 10U that we're pre-recording this week. Unfortunately, the last 2 weeks I've been busy, so we haven't got to record. Then Saturday night Exhale will probably be back this weekend.
Ooh, can't wait, buddy. I would love Saturday Night Exhale. Color, you got anything coming up? Color, what's going on, Color?
I'm working on it. I'm working on a couple stories, but in particular. But I also wanted to just mention, y'all see what happened to Warren Sapp out in Okeechobee, man, a few months ago.
No.
Oh, where he got accosted by the
Oh,
cops or something like that.
He's suing the hell out of Okeechobee for like $20 million, man.
Yeah, I forget what happened.
Violating his constitutional rights.
Yeah, he was in somewhere saying something. They made him leave. It was like a government building that they made him leave.
Well, that was when he was trying to FOIA the body cam footage and the records for that particular incident where they.
Oh, he went in there. He went in there to get the body cam footage from the previous arrest, and they told him to get the hell out of here, and then they arrested him.
No, they wouldn't give it to him.
Right.
They like stood there and lectured him about why they can't give it to him and all that. Basically, further violating his rights to get the information from it's crazy, man.
I don't know. It sounds like Color needs to get on this whole fucking thing. Is what it sounds like.
Sounds like a mission for Johnny Sauces.
He said he was at a gas. HB in the chat says he was at a gas station, saw someone getting a ticket. And so what? He intervened with the cops while they were giving somebody a ticket?
No, he didn't intervene with them. They construed it that way and freaking took him to jail.
Okay. If I've seen people get a ticket. I remember when I brought my friends, when I moved up to Central Florida, and I brought my friends that I made up there down to West Palm, and as soon as we got off the interstate, right there as we passed Kirk Road at a stoplight, there's a helicopter that comes swooping down like this, and there's a car like open with all the doors, and there's dudes running around, and cops are grabbing them and slamming them on the in the middle of the road, and we're just kind of just cruising by. And I remember thinking, yeah, you know what? No cops are arresting anybody. So what happened?
They thought they were going to play their word games with and semantics with Warren Sapp, but it ain't working because he's far more intelligent than they are.
He's HB saying
he went to the
then
University
arrested
of Miami,
him,
bro. Don't underestimate
I'm not.
how smart Warren Sapp is.
Fuck, buddy. Yeah,
Warren this morning is to the Okeechobee Police Department. Okay,
well,
he on his worst day, he's smarter than you all on your best day, Okeechobee. Okay, so you're gonna lose this fight.
Is he though?
Oh no, dude. He's
I don't
about
know.
to get paid, bro. He's about to get paid, and he will get every dime of it.
Well, that's just great. Glad to see that the taxpayers get to pay for stupid antics. I'll have to. You know what?
He was on his way to a charity event, bro. And he was commenting in public, exercising his First Amendment right to toward the traffic stop that was already over because the cop had already handed the person their ticket.
Florida is a police state. I feel sorry for non.
Oh, it ain't just Florida, Michael K.
It's not a police state.
Well, you see how they treat Warren Sapp. Just remember, if they're willing to treat a guy with that high a profile like that, what do you think they're doing to everybody else?
Listen, I've had many of experiences with cops in several different realms, some of which were terrible and some of which were pleasant. And that's the same thing with everything in life.
Yeah, I understand that, but we all don't wear uniforms. And that word
got it.
Something.
But you know what? We all don't have to have everyone seeing that uniform and trying to attack them.
Don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is uniform means something so that You
No.
can't. People.
Well,
I'm
yeah.
tired of this. You can't. People can't just continue to say, "Oh, well, you can't hold the everybody responsible for the few," or most cops are good, or this. No, they wear a uniform. That means they all represent each other. Sorry about your luck.
Nah.
And as
I don't
long as
know.
they're going to continue to cover it
I
up
don't know.
and allow
I
it
don't
to
know.
happen and block the public's right to get the information to expose them, okay, when they do violate our rights.
Well, why
then I'm
didn't he?
sorry.
Why didn't he have a lawyer try to get the information?
Yeah, why'd he show up there?
Bro, you don't think they treat lawyers this way too?
I don't
No,
know.
I know
I'm
they
just
don't.
saying. I'm just
Well,
saying. A
they do.
lawyer
They
is
do.
somebody who, it's like,
They do. Bro,
regardless of how smart he is, he's not a lawyer.
Mm.
it
If I
don't
wanted to
matter,
get something
bro.
from the, if
It
I wanted to
doesn't
get
matter
something,
if you're a lawyer or not.
I'm just saying, dude.
How do you know
Not
he's
saying
not
if it
being
matters or
advised
not.
by
I'm
one?
just saying there's ways to go, but I don't know. I don't know the situation. But if he was that adamant about getting the information, he should hire a lawyer.
Well, just watch the tape, bro. That's
He
all
said
I
he
gotta
was
say.
already.
Watch
So
the
they
tape.
just came up and like, oh fuck, that's Warren Sapp. Get him.
Well, I
fuck?
actually
What?
watched.
Is
the
that what
video.
happened?
I actually watched the video. He
Yeah.
was going there requesting a legal public document that does not require a lawyer to be requested.
They
It
don't
does
even
not.
require you to give them
It
your
is
name.
public record. It is public record.
And they told him no.
And what happened is when he got pulled into the office so he could request the documentation, the person immediately was like trying to deflect, and then he said, "You know what? I'm going to record our conversation because I kind of feel like you don't want to help me here." And next thing I know, the guy's like, "Oh, I don't want to be recorded," and then he runs out and calls the police.
Yeah.
And then the
they
police
locked him out of-
basically threw him to the ground for no reason and handcuffed him for requesting a public document that's everybody's legal right. I'm sorry, but he's getting paid. That's what's going to happen.
Crazy.
And then, well, the other thing is that when he goes in there to make public document requests, they will literally they'll tell him the public records department is closed. After he already had his team call up the department and make sure they're open that day.
Yeah. So you could tell they're trying to hide something.
That's crazy.
And in addition to it, I bet you
film doing it. That's the crazy thing.
No, in color, I wasn't trying to argue against you. You're right. Like what cops should they should be. There shouldn't be no discrepancy. They should be
transparency.
At all
That's what there
times.
should be.
Well, right, Tom. And I used to be of the thought that, well, you can't blame all the good ones for what the bad ones do. But it's at
That's
the
not
point
an
where
excuse.
so many of them cover up things now.
Yeah,
for
you
each
can't.
other.
That can't be an excuse. Not for that job.
And the fact that they wear a uniform,
Not
and the
for,
word
like,
uniform
doctors-
literally means one form. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the badge it's more of a badge thing than a uniform.
Well, what I mean is, when you're wearing a uniform, when you're with an organization that is uniform, that means you're only as good as your worst person.
I hope not.
I mean, it's one form. It's everybody.
No, I feel you, dude. I've been
representing
talking about police.
the law.
I've been saying we need police reform for a long time.
Yeah,
but
I say
that's
we
a
should
whole
go back
different
to
thing.
fist fights.
If they're willing to treat Warren
but
Sapp
actually,
like
Color, I'm glad that you brought that up. I think I'm gonna talk about it on TMI because I want to learn a little bit more about it.
Yeah, it would be a good conversation.
If you want me to stay out of it so you can have your voice, I will, because I got a lot to say and I don't want to take over.
Yeah,
your
well,
space, you know what I mean?
Furthermore,
sounds like a good.
I just want to end with this on it. I will be surprised if the people that were involved in that video, the officers, let alone the supposed supervisor in the office of record, I will be surprised if they actually knew that Warren Sapp was Warren Sapp. That's how.
Oh yeah, I
dumb they are.
guarantee it. I guarantee they didn't know.
Going down, they did, and then they tried to tell him that he needed to submit his name. First of all, you don't have to. Second of all, they knew it.
That's crazy.
So even
That's
while
what
you're
I'm
getting
saying. Like
arrested,
that's
you
why
don't
it's
have to give them your
interesting.
name.
It's
No,
not
when you're arrested,
necessarily
you have to give your name. The
Warren
point was,
Sapp's
Captain,
Nope.
that they
I don't have to do
unlawfully
shit.
arrested him.
Nope. I don't have to do shit. I don't have to say fuck all without a
no, I
lawyer.
mean,
No,
you
and I
plead the
wasn't
fifth.
defending cops when I said he should ask a lawyer. I'm just saying, like,
What he
I don't
should have
know.
done is ran that fucking zero technique and
I mean, this is
blasted them
simple
all, dog.
stuff,
Hell
Monk,
yeah.
that most people shouldn't need a lawyer for.
No, I feel you. I'm just, I don't know. I'm somebody who doesn't mind going around people to get what I need to get done.
Well,
Yeah,
what I mean
I don't.
is,
I'm a rule follower
they
too,
make
Tonk.
they make the public records such that a bum could go in and should be able to get it. Don't even have to give. You can go in anonymously and put your name down as good citizen.
Do I need a lawyer to get a birth certificate? No.
No, but you have to show. You
I can
can't.
ask for your birth certificate if I wanted to.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. How much you want to bet on that?
All right, go find out where I was born and go right ahead.
Well, that's all I need to know is where you were born and your parents' names, and I can ask for your birth certificate.
Why are you trying to argue with me, dude?
I'm not trying to argue with you. I can just tell you
Get
it's
his
a
ass,
public
Tonk.
record.
Get his ass.
Okay, cool. But nobody is going to jail. But that's not. It's. I don't know. I don't think birth certificates should be public record. Honestly.
Yeah. Fuck all y'all.
I can see
I
a
mean,
point
a
on that.
public
That's a
arrest,
different argument, but I'm just saying it's a public
What's your
record.
name? El
That's
Capitan.
okay.
That's all
That's
you need to
okay.
know. You can
But
call me El
nobody needs to
Capitan.
know. Nobody should be able to get a hold of my birth certificate. That's bullshit.
Not without getting
I hear what
fucking
you're saying.
headbutt.
I agree with you, but I'm just saying that it's any public record. You shouldn't have to have a lawyer to request a public
and I
record.
agree with you, man. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Like
I
I'm
get what
just
you're saying.
saying, it's not always that cut and dry with the government. So I use the government to talk to the government.
Well, I tell you this, the whole thing that makes it qualify as a police state, Tonk, to the earlier point, is that these people are doing this knowing they're being filmed doing it with no repercussions.
Yeah, but that don't mean shit, dude. People are gonna be who they are regardless if they're on camera or
I'm
not.
talking about the whole department,
So what?
the whole building.
Who cares? We're on camera. We're on camera right now. What are you talking about, dude?
What
Everything
I'm
is on
saying is
camera.
the fact that they're doing
Yeah,
it
public
out in the
bathrooms are
open
on camera now.
means
Yeah,
that there is no
exactly.
accountability. The fact
Dude,
that
I'm
they're
not.
willing
I know,
to
but
tell
color.
you,
You're making these points as if I'm arguing about it.
I'm
No,
simply telling
Tonk,
you.
don't you know there's no accountability?
No, I'm agreeing with it, but I'm just saying, like, people in government don't give a shit if they're on camera or not. They're on camera all the time.
Then why are they kicking people out of buildings for turning on their camera?
The same reason why Epstein doesn't have a list anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it
Actually,
just
I've been
ain't
proven
fair.
wrong. Birth certificates are not public record. I'm sorry. I thought they were because
No, they're
I can
not.
go online and request anybody's
Go
virtually.
find it now, then.
What is he yelling about? What did he say?
But what you can do
I don't know.
is you can walk into the public building, into that lobby,
I
and
think
when the
Tonk's
parent
fighting
at the
somebody
desk
at his
doesn't want
house.
to give you your name, you can subpoena her name, her payroll, the day she was hired, all of it. So the fact that they just sit there and balk you as a public citizen right there in the plain wide open with no repercussions, dude, for violating your constitutional rights.
No, I agree with that one.
How's that? I'm just saying that constitutes a police state.
Like, look at this though. Think about it like this.
She can
I
violate
was
my
trying-
constitutional
I
rights.
was trying my hardest to get. So here in Seattle, you have to go down to the department to apply for concealed carry. And so I go down there and they're like, "Oh, you have to do it online." But for some reason, the link wouldn't work on my computer. So for months, I couldn't get it to work and I couldn't get it to work. So I had to go back in there with my computer. And they showed me what to do. And it was just like one little thing. But what I'm trying to say is government is always a pain in the ass. So, If it ain't working, you got to try something else.
I guess I'm just passionate about it, bro, because Tonk, you and I grew up in this area with Palm Beach County sheriffs, dude, and you knew how it was to drive in your car around on Friday night, dude, when you know all you're doing is this or that, and you're not doing anything
Well,
wrong.
Color,
It's like, bro, you know how they used to treat us, man.
I don't know if that was. I mean, look,
that shit's against the law, bro, for them
Sure,
to
it
even
is.
talk to us that way, man. And we just let them do it our whole lives, bro.
305 Sportscast. The hell? Listen, we're just talking some dumb shit right now. 305 Sportscast. We were just kind of wrapping this shit up. We just got off topic with the Warren Sapp stuff.
I'm just, like I said, I'm just passionate about it.
I meant to end this bitch 10 minutes ago. These guys
I
wanted
don't
to talk
watch a
about
lot
it.
of ESPN
What they did to
anymore,
Warren
so that's
Sapp
why I didn't.
and the way they talk to him and all that, they've done that to me my whole life. Every time I've ever had an interaction with them. So I wish people would stop with this.
No,
Oh, well, it's
100%.
only
Yeah,
a
I
few
feel
bad
you on
ones.
that. I feel you on that. Only a couple times I've ever enjoyed talking to a cop. Even when I ask them questions, I've tried to
They're
ask cops
just
questions.
disgusting people,
I've
man. The way
asked
they
cops
treat people,
questions,
man.
and they've given me some of the worst answers I've ever heard in my entire
they're
life.
dicks. Let's
It's
not
like,
act like
yo,
there's
I'm trying to
word
do the
games
right
with
thing.
they'll play word games with their own mother, man.
It
makes me sick.
man.
Again, let's not act like it's not inherent for people that, it's a powerful position and people want to wield that power, and it attracts those who shouldn't wield it, that want it, that need it for other reasons. Okay. I had a conversation not too long ago. Only 3 fucking guys. There's 3 motherfuckers that I've known that are straight weirdos, and all 3 became cops,
And I know one of them that you're talking about.
Yeah, I know you know
And
one of
his
them. That's
dad-
why.
And his dad was a fucking weirdo too.
His dad wasn't just a weirdo, is a fucking asshole, real piece of shit. But, and that, again, that's fine. I'm not saying those are bad people. I'm just saying that if you'd have told me the whole time I knew these people that, now they're cops, I'd go, oh fuck, that's not good. They're beating, they're punching on the air, and now they're hitting people. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the deal. So I'm not saying it, it's all of that way. I just know that the only 3 people I've ever known growing up that became cops were all fucking weirdos. That's it.
Well, the problem they're having, Cap, is that, believe it or not, despite what people think, our school system in Florida, at least in South Florida, served us well. And we are much smarter than they give us credit for. And that's their mistake.
I went to a F school. If it wasn't for college, shit, I wouldn't know anything but construction.
Well, all right. And on
Like
that
I
note,
said, I'll finish it by reminding everybody Warren Sapp went to the University of Miami, and we all know how I feel about graduates of the University of Miami. They are champions in everything they do.
I swear, Color will fight for somebody out of the U. I mean, he'd be like, he did not kill him. I know that bloody knife's in his hand, but it didn't happen.
And boys
Color
from
will lie on the
Okeechobee
stand.
don't know who they stirred.
Dude, this funny. This is like, you never hear about Okeechobee unless it's like a music festival, a rodeo, or some stupid ass shit like this.
Yeah,
somebody getting their rights violated at the Burger King,
I've been
right?
driving through Okeechobee for fucking 30 years, and it's looked the
Hey,
exact same.
Tonk, do you
the
always stop
entire
at that
time.
same Burger King?
Like, dude, just look up downtown Okeechobee, and that tells you everything you need to know.
Right.
Hey,
do you always
Colin-
stop at the same Burger King, Tonk?
No, I
That's
stop
right
at
in front of
I
town?
stop at the Shell. No, I stop at the Shell off 441.
Yeah, and try to get the fuck up out of there.
Like on my I go to it on my way in. It's like right before you really get into Okeechobee, and I hit it on my way out.
For people who don't know, saying as one of the 3 things Tonk listed, saying the rodeo is such a smack home run out of the park. If you want to know what it is, there it is. A damn rodeo. All right, everybody.
There's nothing else.
There's nothing else, buddy. And you know what? Go to a rodeo. They are dressed to the freaking rodeo wives. Oh my god, they are dressed to the nines.
Half the fucking population gets pregnant that night.
You damn right they do, boy. You damn right. And Tonk's gone to a rodeo there with me a couple times.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Listen, just so you know, rodeo's a good fucking time.
I did rodeos. I was in elite. I know I was in one. I remember it.
That's just fun. All right, hit the like button, everybody. Appreciate everybody coming by. Hit the notification bell. We're gonna be on tomorrow. We'll see you guys next time. Fins up.